I'm standing here obviously at University of Hawaii. It's the biggest university on the island in the state. The focus of this video is Manoa, but also Makiki and the surrounding areas. Make sure you stay tuned to the end of this video. I literally saved a life. I'm saying that to keep you there to the end, but I did. I actually, someone might, you'll see. Right here where I'm standing, you have dorms that way. You have this cool art feature that lets you know you're at a university. I don't know what it is. The main part of the campus is down there. We chose this spot because this is where you really feel like I'm at the university. You know, this along with the stadium. I was actually talking with Brandy from California yesterday. What's up, Brandy? And I was trying to draw a parallel to the Bay Area in California or to San Diego. It's something like living in the Berkeley Hills. So if you're in Northern California, this might be like the Berkeley Hills. It's centered around the university, but it's also just a cool place. Manoa can also be a little rainier. It can also be a little, I was gonna say quiet. But you know what I'm saying though, right? When you get into the valley, which we'll get into, you'll see. Let's do it. Here in Manoa, there's a youthful, optimism to just living in this valley in general. But there's also a certain maturity. Maturity? Do you say maturity or maturity?
I was like, well, fancy, huh?
Yeah. If I'm gonna say mature, I say mature. But if I'm gonna say maturity, I don't know. Anyways, yeah, there's a certain maturity that comes with being able to purchase a home in Manoa, right? So not just everyone can afford this average price point. We're right here next to town, or Honolulu, as you might be calling it, but we here in Hawaii would just say town. But it doesn't feel like it, especially once you get, deep in here. What do you think about when you think of Manoa? Like, other than the university, obviously.
Old money.
Old money. I think of Valley Rain, so a little wetter. Mid-Pac, or we say Mid-Pac or Mid-Pacific Institute, which is a private school that we just passed. Yeah, UH Lab is another private school that's a part of the ILH. I want to point something out really quick while we're here. You can see how much median or yard space there is before the home's fence even start. If a developer were developing these homes now and we're going to put up a wall or something of that nature, they're probably like in Ocean Point and Eva Beach or whatever, they're going to take that property frontage all the way to the 5-foot mark or 10-foot setback, whatever the zoning is for that area, and they're going to use all of that property. Here in Manoa, you can see these homes where there's 10, 12 feet of just general yard space before the person's yard even starts. And so that's something that I would expect more on the mainland, right? Like you would see that in town right outside of Nashville, like Brentwood, Tennessee, or the Valley in Northern California, or inland from San Diego a little bit, or something like that. So sometimes it can be hard to describe the nuance of why a place feels different. I would say one is the larger yard space. That's akin to an era where they didn't realize how sparse this land was when they were developing, right? And so yards can be bigger, lots can be bigger. I look towards the mountains and I see a rock chimney, and I see a brick chimney as well. So do you really need that? No, but you figure when they were building in the 20s and 30s, and people coming from the mainland, these maybe missionaries or aristocrats or whatever, that had a home in Manoa, or maybe it was just influenced by that, right? See, look at this house. Look at all of that yard before the rock wall even starts. And then you're not gonna find that in Eva, right? You're not gonna find that even in Wahiawa. You're not gonna find that. You might find that in parts of Kailua, maybe. But even look, just this front yard, you're typically not going to find a front yard like that. That lot is probably 9,000 square foot. R5 zoning being, one structure every 5,000 square foot of land. Don't rely on me and quote me, but they would, if you were developing today, you'd say, I'm gonna put 2 houses instead of 1. Look at that one. That's one that most of us could afford. Here on the left, hopefully you can see over my shoulder, that feels like Manoa Valley. Look, the chimney, the brush, the shade provided by the mountains and the trees. One of our brokers in our company, he lives in here. When you talk about generational wealth and even, you know, the own wealth that he's created over time, it makes sense to your comment. Yeah, to your comment, not mine. That's a nice, more modern renovation though. Wow. So when you come over this hill in Manoa Valley, this is where you're like, I am obviously in the valley, right? Let's talk about the weather. So let's just compare Manoa to Kaka'ako or Ward or, you know, those more Makai towards the ocean areas of Honolulu. It's gonna be a lot more often that you are sitting in Kaka'ako looking towards Manoa, looking towards these mountains and seeing clouds and rain and cover and gray than sitting up here and looking down at town and seeing rain over there. The windward side catches all of that wind and moisture and rain, and then it starts to get absorbed. And as you come out of this mountain range, I'm not, you know, a meteorologist or anything, but I'd be willing to bet the farm that the average rainfall here, or maybe, you know, average moisture here is higher than just, you know. How far do you think we are from Kaka'ako?
From Kaka'ako, let's say to Salt.
To Salt,
From here to Salt?
Yeah. As the crow flies.
You like that phrase, huh?
Yeah, because, you know, but it won't.
I said 4.
4 miles. Ooh, 4.1. I didn't realize how offset it is. Let's say...
How about from here to, like Halakoa Hotel?
Waikiki Yacht Club. Waikiki Yacht Club, 3.6. Okay, Waikiki Beach, just 3.7 miles. So that's what I was, because Kaka'ako is offset.
Yeah. I was thinking, more Chinatown-ish.
Well, you got it. You got this one. But yeah, so you're only 3 miles away. But in terms of the moisture level, I think there's probably a significant difference that you wouldn't see between Ewa and Kapolei. You know, the 3 miles over there, it's pretty much the same thing. You wouldn't see between Haleiwa and Pupukea, which we still need to do the rest of our North Shore video, Pupukea. So if you're looking for that, you want to see that, let us know in the comments. But you know, Mauka to Makai, mountain to ocean, there's a difference. So I just want to point that out. Hey, he's dressed like the guy almost. Oh, it's Friday. Yeah. He's just like that. You know, I've actually never hiked Manoa Falls. You have?
Yeah, it's fairly easy, you know.
Yeah. Have you swam?
I ain't getting in that water.
Right. So that's one thing, you know, when you move to Hawaii, if you vacation, quite a bit of people from the channel come out for house hunting trips ahead of time. If you're gonna get into something like Manoa Falls, Kapena Falls, Maunawili, if you're gonna get into these hikes and swim, for one, I would say as a blanket statement, don't swim. There's a thing called leptospirosis in Hawaii. That's, I think, from like the animal feces and urine running into the rivers and stuff. But in any case, if you do choose to swim, I think it's best after there's been rainfall, and then make sure you don't have open cuts. That was pretty much the depths of this valley. We're going to head out, head Makai. You can see the buildings and downtown Honolulu, and you know, you feel how close you are to town, right? As we discussed earlier, 3.5 to 4.5 miles apparently. From the front of Manoa, it's probably only like 2 miles or something, right? Bikeable, walkable, right? The last Manoa house that I sold was in Waianae. We helped a buyer, young girl in the Navy. She wanted a house and a place for her kayaks and her budget. Waianae was really the spot that she could afford. The neighbor broke into her house. So she had a roommate who was a pretty younger girl, and the young guy broke into her house. They were right across the common driveway from each other. And so after that happened, things, you know, weren't ideal for her, so she just decided to sell. The house in Waianae was originally a home in Manoa. They had picked it up. Sometimes they'll cut the house in half and reattach it. I'm not sure if that happened on this one, but they had, you know, lifted the home, put it on a flatbed, drove it to Waianae. It was this, you know, beautiful little plantation home in Waianae, but it was the last house, the last Manoa house I sold, not the last house in Manoa. But look at that place.
I know, what the hell is that?
Do you have the snipe?
Yeah.
The snipe?
I do.
1, 2, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We might have to go to it too.
Yeah.
Let's just go over there. That's one of the things about Hawaii with the terrain. is you can like see something and find your way over there. Like unless you're going through town, like, you're going through Honolulu. There's all these one-way streets. I remember before iPhones, I called my dad like, I'm by the Zippies and I can't get to the place I need to go. I can see it, but I can't get to it. If you worked in town, where would Manoa rank for you? Because a lot of people, the assumption you want to live here is because you have to commute, right?
Pretty high.
Pretty high, right?
I think actually for me, I really considered the like right by Roosevelt area, like the base of Tantalus, in between Papakolea and Manoa.
There's the place. So Manoa would be top 2, top 3 if you worked in town, right?
It'd be pretty high up there, because it's not city. You know what I mean? You still get the home feel with the neighbors. You can walk over to the house.
Right.
This feels like a Hawaii neighborhood.
What if you didn't work in town?
Makaha Valley.
So Makaha Valley, you would put that in your top 5?
I like the secluded nature. And like the space. You know what I mean? That I just talk about Makawa, like, man, I like that. I like that.
Are you okay with being half an hour from the nearest store?
Yeah.
Costco or whatever?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Were we just looking at multiple homes in front of each other that appeared to be 10 stories? Is that it?
No, it's behind, it's right behind here.
You can see it sprinkling. You can see on my windshield here, it's wet. And so that's Manoa, right? Just a little passing drizzle, nothing major. And then also, look at, this building where the acupuncture place is. There's a restaurant there called Feast that looks like it was at one time maybe an old house or something. There's a quaintness to Manoa. Sometimes people are looking for, like actually that my wife is looking for, that people might seek out in Kailua or Haleiwa, but those are beach towns. Manoa has that with these older Hawaii, mature kind of, like this. Look at this Starbucks. Off the hook poke, like wow, how crowded that is. So Manoa has that with the chimneys and the little cottage style old houses and spots like that. So like the Starbucks, it looks like something you'd see like off the beaten path in north of Seattle or I don't know, something like that. Even the McDonald's, it has the metal tin roof and it kind of looks a little more like a Hawaii plantation style vibe. I don't know, there's just a different feeling here. In Hawaii, a lot of times we identify things. I guess they do it everywhere, right? But like the Safeway shopping center. You think they do that everywhere as much as we do?
I feel like we use landmarks a lot more.
We use landmarks, yeah. Like we don't use street names like the 76 South. I don't know if we've done a neighborhood tour that did not have Along's Drugs. Hawaii's drugstore for sure. Some might say CVS. In Hawaii, it's Long's. Inside here, there's nail places. I think some, salons, financial advisor. Shout out to Mono Jiu-Jitsu, cool jiu-jitsu gym. That is, it's up here, right there. Oh, crack seed store. I should get my dad some crack seed. Island Manapua factory. Mo'o school? What is that? Lizard school? Manoa sushi. Oh, there's a paisano over here. I thought there's only one paisano. When people come to me, they're like, Derek, I want walkability. We always talk about like Kailua, well, Kaka'ako for sure. Anywhere like in town. Kaka'ako, Haleiwa maybe. There's like Mehana and Kapolei. There, if you live near Mililani Town Center or parts of Mauka maybe, but Manoa also offers this, but not in like the Haleiwa Kailua kind of way. I would think that in Kailua or Haleiwa, someone may have a net worth of 5 or 10 million, but still want that like old Volkswagen van. You know what I mean? Not that that doesn't exist here, because there's plenty of people here that surf town, surf Waikiki. Like the Berkeley Hills, the same kind of thing. It's like there's the youthful optimism, but there's the wealth that's in the Berkeley Hills and the older homes with a ton of character and chimneys. I've gotten feedback that on the channel that people like the discussions about the nuance and the elaboration, because fortunately for you guys and for me, this platform, this medium of YouTube, is you're in this like, you're digesting all this information about Hawaii and craving it, right? So you're with me with these long conversations, and even if I can't find the words, there's value in it, right? I know I said a New Year's resolution, but hungry. I might get my dad some crack seed. So there's crack seed is a Hawaii like treat candy, like dried or preserved sweet and sour plums and prunes, and it's usually plums and prunes, right? Rihimui, these sour or dry and salty things. My dad actually, he loves this one. He lives in Tennessee, so they can't get it. He loves this one called I don't know what the real name is, but people refer to it as horseshit seed. So my dad, he likes this one. I think this is the one. He calls it horseshit seed. And I also got him jabong, which is like a grapefruit, like a Asian Hawaii grapefruit. I think we passed a jabong tree in our Waianae video. And for dad, rihimui gummy bears. I shouldn't be buying this for him, but he'll be happy. So when I think of the transition from Manoa to town, Makiki area, I think of this, Punahou area. So we just passed Punahou School. I looked to the left and saw Bingham Hall. You know it's a nice high school when there's halls. Former President Barack Obama did go to Punahou, so I'm sure they boast that. We just passed Kapiolani Women's and Children's Hospital on the left, which is a special one for me because I used to work in the children's healthcare field, right? We still to this day donate a portion of every sale. We make a donation to the Children's Miracle Network, which is just a medium for donating to sick kids. Pediatric healthcare is the most irrefutably righteous thing you can do. Helping kids, save the babies, you know, or helping their families. You know, I have kids, so I couldn't imagine. But anyway, we're not gonna cry on today's video or anything. But I do remember like my first patient that left an impact on me. He had cancer, he loved Spider-Man. Like, it's an amazing thing. So there's Kapiolani Women's and Children's Hospital. Right across the freeway from there is Punahou School. If you live in Manoa and you need to leave town during traffic hours, I don't think it gets worse, right?
Yeah, that's pretty bad.
Like whether you're going east or west, when you're at this Punahou exit, in terms of, you know, location on the H1 freeway, it doesn't really get worse than having to leave the Manoa area. If you're going east, a little better, you know. Kalaniana Ole doesn't get as bad as the H1 west. I bet you traffic just isn't going to go back to being as bad as it was pre-COVID because so many people are able to be flexible with their schedules and stuff now.
You get throws penalty flag at UH football. They always have a funny thing over there.
Oh, really? Oh, I didn't know that. Nice marketing. See, I like that. We found parking. We are no longer in Manoa. We're in Makiki, the other part to this video, and the parking struggle was real. It is 1:43 p.m. We are going to encounter traffic very shortly. A little bit of drone footage here, walk around Makiki. You can really do it all in this block, so we're gonna hit it so we don't hit the traffic. All right guys, we are here at Makiki Community Garden. We wanted to capture both city and valley in this video, and so this is Makiki. This is the city. Like you can see tall buildings, I hear the freeway noise. We're in this just densely populated area. We're gonna show you this cool garden, but we didn't do our Hawaiian word. So since I already told you how to say Makiki, we'll do a Hawaiian phrase. So that is Mohala Ikawai Kamaka o Kapua. And that means, I don't know. But vai means water, so ikawai, like the water. Pua is flower. Something to do with this garden, but we're gonna walk through this row to show you how cool this place is. I know I locked it, but your shit's in there, right?
Yeah.
You heard it?
I heard it.
Okay. This is a really interesting setting. You have tentless, you know, you have $5 million homes staring at you right there. People living in their van right over there. 4-story walk up, 20-story building. Honolulu right behind me, and yeah, this Makiki garden place. So you hear me speak in these videos about how I miss California, where I could go to any corner store and get like kale and strawberries from Watsonville in California and all that kind of stuff. And it's pretty cool that here, like in the city, they have this communal garden co-op sort of thing. Admittedly, I haven't seen any like California grade kale in this thing so far since we've been here, but it's still a cool thing. It was always interesting to me how, like when I lived in Oakland and like that area. It was always interesting to me how rootsy the city people were. You know what I mean? Like there's something about those like West Coast, more liberal cities. I've never been to New York or whatnot, but there's something about how like, because they're forced to live amongst all this concrete and chaos, they're extra fair trade organic, right? But the people that live out in the country are just like wipe the dirt off and eat it, you know, I don't know. And this kind of represents that for me. It gives me that feeling. So anyways, this is Makiki. This is like, you're right outside of the valley, so no more valley living. You don't have that quaint old chimney nestled into the valley, a little bit of mist from the clouds. No. You might still get the mist from the clouds, but we're in the city now, you know. If your kid's gonna go to UH Manoa, and you need to get them a condo, whether it be renting an apartment or you're gonna own a condo where you're gonna come and stay occasionally. A lot of times, people for their kids going to college look like a 2-bedroom so that they can come from time to time, or maybe they can have some income from renting the other one. This is probably a likely spot where you're going to do that. Waialae would be another option if your kids are going like Chaminade. What would you say? Makiki is town living, but on this side of the freeway, you're not walking into Waikiki. I mean, you could. By the time you get across the freeway and a few blocks in, the average building height's going to be higher, right? The congestion rate's going to be even more. You know, maybe you're moving to Hawaii and you just can't afford, you know, 1.7 million in Manoa. You know, your budget doesn't fit that, and so you're going to be in Makiki, and you want to be more of an easy bike ride to your job right there in town.
Tantless Drive.
Where's this kid's parents? He's going too far. Is this your son? Where you going, buddy? Where's your mom and dad? Is that your grandpa? No, don't go in we can't go by the road over here. This is dangerous. Where's grandpa? Is it over there? Is this mommy? Mommy hug.
Yeah, let's go. So thank you.
You're welcome.
So thank you, Kanko.
Bye. We just experienced some danger, and we were just talking about the children's hospital thing, so it's like, anyways. Today we did another part of our Honolulu series. We could capture Honolulu all in one video, but it wouldn't do it justice, so we're doing segments. You know, we did Kaka'ako, we did Diamond Head, Waialae, Kaimuki. This is Manoa and Makiki. We're probably gonna come back and do Nu'uanu to downtown Honolulu, which downtown Honolulu is different than other parts of Honolulu. We'll do Kalihi at some point. So, and then after that, we'll do a whole collective of town as we see it here in Hawaii. Below, we put our contact information. Look forward to reaching out to you guys, or to having you reach out to us so that we can connect on a phone call, on a video conference. Do it now rather than later. Just this week, we got a buyer into a place that is off market, no competition in this crazy competitive market. And had we not been in contact with the person earlier, wouldn't have been able to achieve that situation for them.